Hey guys, thanks for joining Renew with Jew, my faith and fitness journey where Abba used fitness to increase my faith. So I'm here with my friend Paige.
Hello.
So it's Monday, and so we just like to just walk. We found a new park, but I'm not gonna tell y'all where because I'm not beat for sharing my location. But yeah, we just wanted to talk about this book. Words by Kenneth Hagin.
Kenneth E. Hagin.
Yeah, yes. Kenneth E. Hagin. And just like the power of our words, because it's something that we always discuss. So we just wanted to, I don't know, just share our thoughts. I had the book, and I read it, and then I let her borrow it, and she got some things from it. So here we are. So, yeah.
All right, so the first thing that I found that was important in this book, the first chapter talks about them visiting a friend of the family who was also a pastor, and his wife was also a pastor, and how the words that she spoke over her own husband actually eventually killed him. He ended up having a stroke, and he was inches from death, and everybody was praying and in worship, and the doctors were telling them to stop praying and worshiping because they was keeping him from going over to the other side. And if he did happen to come back, that he was not going to be the same. Well, the opposite of that happened. He ended up coming back, and he ended up regaining everything that he had, but his wife kept harping on him, saying that, he's going to die and he's never going to be the same, and he needs to retire because his speech wasn't good, and so on and so on. So Kenneth E. Hagin told her, if you keep talking like this over your husband, in 2 years' time, he will die. And it was just a word that he got from God to tell her to stop speaking death over her husband. Well, in 2 years' time, her husband passed. And she became angry at God because of the things that she had said, and she turned away from God. So a lot of times, what I got from this book was a lot of times we speak horrible stuff over us and don't pay attention to the things that we're saying, and it just showed me that we need to be mindful of what comes out of our mouth.
No, we really do need to be mindful. I'm sorry. Phoebe is cracking me up. Y'all, this Phoebe. Can y'all see Phoebe? I don't know if y'all can see Phoebe. This is Phoebe.
Hi, badness.
And Phoebe like to call us trouble week. Don't you look at me. We don't do that. Oh, honey. Okay. Anyway.
Phoebe being my dog. Stop.
No, that is so true. Like, that's something that I try to be conscious of, because words are so, I don't know, they just so powerful. And we take on a lot of stuff that we necessarily really don't have to. Like, for example, like when it comes to sickness, I know we always talk about this. People will say, and me being a care counselor, people will say, oh, my anxiety, my depression, my this, my that, and it's the symptoms of, you're experiencing this right now, but you're gonna overcome that. Like, because when you say mine, you're taking that on as it's actually yours, so you become a part of it. Like, you come into a covenant, you come into agreement with that, so your mind starts to believe it. Like, our mind will literally take on everything. What's that video? You got me all dirty, Phoebe. I'm sorry. What's the video you sent me with the lady with the hands?
Oh, I think it was like some type of cognitive therapy where she had the real hand and he had a fake hand, and they had her other real hand on the side, but it was in place of her right hand, and he was rubbing both of them, and it was basically to show how your brain would wrap around something that's not even true. He was rubbing both hands, and he was like, eventually you'll start to feel that the fake hand, you will start to feel, you will connect with it. And he took out a hammer and slammed it, and she screamed as if she felt pain, but he didn't hit the real hand. So the mind can be easily tricked, and we become comfortable with what is not for us. I think if that's what I'm saying. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, okay, but we do get, people do get I ain't gonna say we. See, power words. We no, but people do get comfortable in whatever they're in because they accept it, and we don't always have to accept these things, like, yes, there's a thing of being like, now if somebody is sick, right, like if somebody has a cold, yes, reality is they do have a cold, but they don't have to be like, oh, I have a cold and I'm getting sick, y'all, because da-da-da-da. Like, your mind's going to take that on and be like, okay, all right, so it's going to start feeling like it's going to, like, sulk. It's going to feel in that low state or whatever. Versus it's like, okay, I have a cold right now, but I'm getting better. I'm going to get past this. I'm going to get through this thing. So, but, yeah, it's just wild. Have you ever experienced, like, feeling something that wasn't actually, like, there? Like, have you ever, like, experienced that at all?
I do. It just depends on what has happened to me during that day. Like, for instance, when my daughter caught COVID, that first night she was desperately ill. And I actually, in my mind, I believed with all my heart that she would be better by the next day, and she actually was. Like, I was up all night making sure I took care of her, but I felt that presence of, hey, just believe in it, and I did. And my daughter, the next day, we all know COVID is bad. It has the potential of taking people out. But my daughter healed so fast. Like, the next day, she was fine. Like, that first night, I was terrified, and I'm like, oh no, we're not about to allow you to get sick like this. And so,
sorry to cut you off, but you mentioned you were terrified, but at some point you swapped that and you said, no, I'm not gonna let this fear come over me, because,
and at first I'm like, oh, she just got sick, and then something said test her for COVID, and once I saw it, I'm like, okay, I know how I felt when I had COVID. Like, I was not doing well at all, but I knew I was going to fight it. I knew that I wasn't going to just lay down and just let my life leave me, because it's my life. I'm not going to let something else take something that doesn't belong to them. It's mine. And that's how I felt about my daughter. I'm going to help you heal. Yes, COVID does interfere with my emotions, but I knew that if I stood my ground and I fought it back, I would win.
No, that's so true. Listen, when it comes to that, common cold over here. I ain't playing them games. Oh, you caught what? Oh, okay, it's a common cold. Like, no power. Like, not giving it no power. None.
Like, I have a friend who has, she's just been diagnosed. Her cancer came back.
The cancer. See?
The
you
cancer
see how we say that? You see how that work?
And so I've been sending her these positive things, trying to keep her from being railroaded, because she has so many other things going on. Her mom has dementia, and she's been battling that, and then she's her own self. She's been battling, so she has a lot going on, and I think we have to keep those doors closed and not allow that fear to enter. I'm very heavily in, when you have fear, it's the absence of faith in God. So, and it tells you all throughout the Bible not to have fear. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not fear, do not fear, do not fear. And a lot of times we neglect that. So once we actually shut down those doors of fear, I think we can overcome almost anything.
No, that's so true. What is the verse? It's 1 Timothy. I want to say 1:7, but sorry if I'm butchering that. But it's Abba did not give us the spirit of fear. He gave us the power of love and a sound mind. That is my verse. That is my verse. But you're right though, because the opposite of faith is fear. So which side? Literally, it's like pick a side. You can't be in between. And a lot of times people are in between. I felt times when I'm in between. I'm like, no, I gotta shut that down. Like, we gotta shut it down, because we're human. We're gonna have those emotions. And even when we do speak these words, we gotta say something the opposite. Because I'll do that. I'd be like, oh, what was it? Just a few minutes ago. Remember, it was like, I called myself a troublemaker because there was some geese, and I was like, ooh, let's bring Phoebe by the geese and see what happened. And then I was like, no, I'm not a troublemaker. I'm not a troublemaker. I am not a troublemaker. I didn't know what the opposite to say, but I'm gonna just say I was just a little curious what was gonna happen. But I do that a lot. Like, I really do that a lot, and I'm trying to be conscious, you know, of the words that I speak, because I'm speaking that stuff over myself. And I noticed that over time I started to believe these things. And some people, it's wild, because the one thing I noticed is people will talk about the power of words. And I'm not even gonna go into like the whole music thing, but like even with that, the things that we hear, you know, this is words that we speaking over ourselves. We can speak these things over other people. You know, we got to be careful about what we say over other people, just as well as what other people say over us.
What we listen to,
like, because when you think about it, somebody always, most people, you know, they had, you know, negative things spoken over them, and at some point they started to believe it. If you, like, you probably hear kids in the background, and there's a school behind us, but if they were, hopefully y'all can hear me, but if you tell a child that they're dumb, they're never gonna be nothing, they're gonna do this, da 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 da, how you gonna get mad at that child when they actually start misbehaving because you say, oh, you bad, you don't do nothing but this, you don't never listen, you don't never da 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 da. Okay, so why you getting mad if they never listen? You tell them that they never listen, so they speaking it, literally, they're bringing forth what you just spoke over them. So it's like, but you see there's so much power in that. And I know I'm not a parent, you know, but I was a preschool teacher for 9 years, and I nannied for a family for a good amount of years. They're like family to me now. And so, like, and with babysitting, I have that experience, and it's so true. Like, we got to speak life into things. Like we always speaking death over somebody, over situations, and it's like we got to speak life. And sometimes it's hard because we don't believe it. You know what I mean? There's that disconnect. But you know what's funny? The one thing I noticed is sometimes we don't believe it. But if you know your identity in Christ, if you know who you are, and you open that living word, it's living, because that's your identity. So when you speak those stuff, you will start to believe it. You know, because it's our Heavenly Father literally talking to us. He's the one who created us. So He's like, this is what you are. The world, they be lying. They lying to you. This is what it is. This is what I created you to be. This is who you are. You know?
We have to break what society has conditioned us to be. Satan is here on this earth, and he has created everything to be against God, and we just have to combat that daily.
Daily, literally, daily. Even in our conversation. You know what I mean? Just like, you see like the things that we had to correct ourselves. So, yeah, but that's pretty much it, right?
Yep, I think that was it. I think
Yeah.
that was very heavily on my mind.
No, but I appreciate it. Thanks for sharing, and hopefully we'll get to do some more talks like this and chats and things like that. You know, wait, Chancellor, we're gonna speak something into existence right now. We're gonna prophesy over you, because you always like to do.
We're gonna be stronger in my talks, and I'm trying not to duct tape Phoebe to a wall. I had to throw that in there.
I cannot.
Hard-headed Phoebe. Love you.
She not hard-headed.
Love you.
She just strong-willed. She's very strong-willed.
Super strong-willed.
A very strong-willed dog. Very.
Super strong-willed.
But I wonder where she get it from.
Her other owner.
Mm-hmm. Nah, but what was I about to say? Oh yeah, because you gonna have your YouTube channel. I don't know if that's true, y'all, but
we will see where it takes me.
Well, we started today,
and that's a start.
Sorry, y'all, I just choked on my spit. But thanks for joining, and I hope y'all have a blessed day. And it's nice outside. I don't know where y'all live at, but even if you gotta go outside and sit in your car with the windows cracked, go outside and get some fresh air. I don't know, drink some water. This is my hot tea, my herbal tea. But just get some sunshine, get some sunlight, get some fresh air, and
enjoy that vitamin D.
Yes, yes, yes. So I will catch y'all later. Peace.